Presentation by Group 1 and C students, Sacred Heart Girls Higher Secondary School. Maternity by Lailika Nakos. Lailika Nakos was a Greek novelist, journalist, and short story writer. She was one of the women writers of modern Greek prose and for many years the only woman in Greek journalism. She is best remembered for her story collection titled Children's Inferno Stories of the Great Famine in Greece. One of her best known novelists is Lost Soul. Camp of Armenian refugees looked like a small village. They settled down in any way they could richest under tents. Majority of them were sheltered under carpets held up at the four corners. Mikhaili was a big lad of 14. He can't thinking for work while he was his baby brother on his back. The birth of the baby caused the death of the mother. The baby didn't stop crying because the baby was hungry. It was irritation to others. One day, Mikhaili decided to go to the camp of Anatolians to see a nursing mother. Mikhaili raced to the tent of nursing mother and requested her to take his baby brother and breastfeed the baby. She accepted his request and asked him to show the baby to see is it a boy or girl. Hearing this, Mikhaili's heart trembled with joy. The child was very ugly to look at. It had an enormous head and thin and shriveled body. It had a swollen thumb too. Seeing all this, the woman gave vent to cries of horror. All of them together chased him away, threatening. Mikhaili's eyes filled with tears. The child was condemned to die of hunger. Mikhaili felt himself alone and lost. A child ran up his spine at the thought that he was carrying such an unlucky child. He sat down in shadow of a shed. The country spread out before him, wasteland covered with refuge. Noon rang out somewhere. The sound reminded him that he had eaten nothing since the day before. He would have to go sneaking around the streets, fletching some half-eaten roll left on a plate or in the garbage for what a dog would not have eaten. His life seemed to be full of horrors that he covered his face with his hands and began to sob desperately. When he raised his head, a man stood before him, gazing down upon him. Mikhaili recognized the Chinaman who often came to the camp to sell paper knickknacks and charm which no one ever bought from him anyway. Often they mocked him because of his color and his squint eyes. The Chinaman told him to not cry and come with him. Mikhaili nodded negatively because he has heard so many horrors about cruelty of Orientals. Mikhaili followed the man with an extreme anxiety. The Chinaman took Mikhaili to a wooden cabin surrounded with garden. He stopped before the door and clapped twice. A tiny person came to open the door. She smiled and made a brief courtesy to them. Chinaman told Mikhaili to come in. Mikhaili entered the room. It was kept so neatly though very poor looking. He noticed a wicker cradle at the corner. It was Chinaman's baby. Mikhaili went up closely and silently admired it. The woman felt pity on the baby and gave breast.